No one would think that the words of an 8-year-old child could change a princess's life, but that's exactly what Lucy Williams's words did to Princess Diana that night. When Diana visited the children's cancer ward at midnight, sounds from Lucy's room caught her attention. The little girl was talking to herself alone, and her words shattered Diana's heart into pieces. Lucy's innocent question destroyed all of Diana's assumptions about royal life. She would never forget that night. What did Lucy say? It was February 14th, 1995, Valentine's Day, but Princess Diana wasn't thinking about romance. She was lying awake in her bed at Kensington Palace, unable to sleep, her mind racing with thoughts about her crumbling marriage and the relentless media scrutiny that followed her everywhere. The irony of spending the night of love alone wasn't lost on her. At 11:45 p.m., Diana made an impulsive decision. She called Victoria Ashworth, her private secretary, despite the late hour. "Victoria, I need to do something meaningful tonight," Diana said when Victoria answered, clearly having been awakened. "I want to visit Great Ormond Street Hospital. Not for an official engagement, just because I need to be around people who are fighting real battles." Victoria tried to dissuade her, explaining that midnight visits weren't scheduled, that security protocols needed to be arranged, that the hospital staff weren't prepared. But Diana had made up her mind. "Sometimes the most important visits are the unplanned ones," Diana replied. "I'll take minimal security, just me and one protection officer. Please arrange it." By 12:30 a.m., Diana was walking through the quiet corridors of Great Ormond Street Hospital's children's cancer ward. The hospital had been notified of her arrival, but she had specifically requested that no formal reception be arranged. She wanted to simply walk the halls and perhaps speak with any children who might be awake. Nurse Jennifer Walsh, who was working the night shift, greeted Diana at the ward entrance. Jennifer had been caring for seriously ill children for 12 years, but she had never had a royal visitor arrive unannounced in the middle of the night. "Your Royal Highness," Jennifer whispered, "this is unexpected. Most of the children are sleeping, but a few are awake. Some have difficulty sleeping because of their treatments." Diana nodded. "I don't want to disturb anyone. I just thought that perhaps some of them might like a visitor. Sometimes the nights can be the hardest times." Jennifer was struck by Diana's understanding of what the children experienced. "You're absolutely right. The nights are when they feel most alone, when they have time to think about their illness and their fear." As they walked quietly down the hallway, Diana could hear the soft sounds of medical equipment, the occasional whisper of nurses, and something else, a small voice coming from one of the rooms. "That's Lucy Williams," Jennifer explained softly. "She's 8 years old, diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia 6 months ago. She often talks to herself at night. Her father tries to stay with her as much as possible, but he works double shifts to pay for expenses that insurance doesn't cover." Diana stopped outside Lucy's room. Through the partially open door, she could see a small figure sitting up in bed, her bald head catching the soft light from the hallway. Lucy was holding a stuffed rabbit and speaking to it in hushed tones. What Diana heard next would stay with her for the rest of her life. "I wish I could meet a real princess," Lucy was saying to her stuffed rabbit named Mr. Hoppy. "Daddy says princesses live in castles and wear pretty dresses and never have to worry about anything. That must be nice, Mr. Hoppy. Do you think princesses ever get sick? Do you think they ever feel scared at night like I do?" Diana's heart clenched. She looked at Jennifer, who nodded encouragingly. "Lucy," Diana said softly, stepping into the room, "I couldn't help but hear you talking. I'm Diana. Would it be all right if I sat with you for a while?" Lucy looked up with wide eyes. Even at 8 years old, weakened by months of chemotherapy, there was an intelligence and warmth in her gaze that took Diana's breath away. "Are you a nurse?" Lucy asked. "You're very pretty, prettier than the other nurses. No offense," she added, looking toward Jennifer with the politeness that sick children often develop. Diana smiled and sat down in the chair beside Lucy's bed. "I'm not a nurse, sweetheart. I'm actually a princess." Lucy's eyes widened even further. "A real princess? Like in the story?" "A real princess," Diana confirmed. "Though I have to tell you, being a princess isn't quite like the stories make it seem." Lucy studied Diana's face carefully. "You don't look like the princesses in my books. You look sad. Are you sad?" The directness of the question caught Diana off guard. Children, she had learned, had a way of seeing through pretense that adults had lost. Sometimes I am sad, Diana admitted. What about you, Lucy? Are you sad? Lucy nodded solemnly. I'm sad a lot. I'm sad because I'm sick and I can't play like other kids. I'm sad because Daddy has to work so much and he's always tired. I'm sad because Mommy went away when I got sick. Diana felt her throat tighten. Your mother left? She said she couldn't handle having a sick child, Lucy explained matter-of-factly. Daddy says she loved me, but just couldn't be strong enough. Some people aren't strong enough for hard things. The casual way Lucy spoke about such a devastating abandonment broke Diana's heart. Here was a child who had been forced to develop wisdom far beyond her years. Lucy, can I tell you something? Diana said, taking the little girl's hand. Being a princess doesn't protect you from sadness or fear. I get scared at night sometimes too. I worry about my children, about whether I'm doing the right things. Being a princess doesn't make the hard parts of life go away. Lucy considered this information seriously. But you have beautiful clothes and a castle, and people take care of you. I do have nice things, Diana agreed. But having nice things doesn't make the sadness go away. Do you know what I've learned, Lucy? The things that really matter, like love and kindness and being brave, those don't have anything to do with castles or crowns. Lucy was quiet for a moment, processing this revelation. Then she asked the question that would change Diana's perspective on her royal role forever. If being a princess doesn't make you happy, and if you still get scared and sad like regular people, then what's the point of being a princess? The innocent question hit Diana like a physical blow. In her entire life, no one had ever asked her such a direct question about the purpose of her position. Advisors talked about duty and tradition. The press talked about glamour and privilege. But an 8-year-old girl had cut straight to the heart of what really mattered. Diana was quiet for several minutes, holding Lucy's small hand and thinking about how to answer. You know what, Lucy? Diana finally said. I think you've just asked me the most important question anyone has ever asked me. And I think the answer is that being a princess is only worth something if you use it to help people who really need help. Lucy nodded as if this made perfect sense, like visiting sick kids in the hospital at night. Exactly like that, Diana said, smiling through tears she didn't realize had started falling. Lucy noticed the tears immediately. Why are you crying? Did I say something wrong? No, sweetheart. You said something very right. You helped me understand something important about myself. Over the next hour, Diana and Lucy talked about everything from Lucy's treatments to Diana's sons, William and Harry. Lucy was fascinated to learn that Diana's children were close to her age and that they sometimes got scared or sad just like she did. Do you think William and Harry would want to be my friends? Lucy asked. I don't have many friends anymore. Kids at school are afraid they'll catch my cancer, even though the doctors say you can't catch it like a cold. Diana's heart broke again at the loneliness in Lucy's voice. I think they would love to be your friends. In fact, I'm going to arrange for them to write you letters. Would you like that? Lucy's face lit up with the first genuine smile Diana had seen from her. Really? Princes would write to me? Really, Diana promised. And Lucy, I want you to know something. You are one of the bravest people I've ever met. You're fighting a battle that would frighten grown-ups, and you're doing it with such grace and wisdom. Lucy looked puzzled. I don't feel brave. I feel scared most of the time. Being brave doesn't mean you don't feel scared, Diana explained. Being brave means you keep going even when you're scared. And that's exactly what you're doing. Just then, David Johnson appeared in the doorway. Lucy's father had finished his late shift at the warehouse and had come to check on his daughter before trying to get a few hours of sleep. He stopped short when he saw Diana sitting beside Lucy's bed. I'm sorry, David said, clearly exhausted and confused. I didn't realize. Lucy, who is this? Daddy, this is Princess Diana, Lucy exclaimed excitedly. A real princess. She came to visit me because I was talking to Mr. Hoppy about wanting to meet a princess, and then she just appeared like magic. David stared at Diana in disbelief. He was wearing his work clothes, covered in dust from the warehouse, and looked like he hadn't slept properly in months. Your Royal Highness, I don't understand. It's the middle of the night. Diana stood and extended her hand to David. Please, call me Diana. I came for an impromptu visit because I couldn't sleep, and I heard Lucy talking. She's been teaching me some very important things. David shook Diana's hand hesitantly. Teaching you? Lucy's just a kid. Sometimes children understand things that adults have forgotten, Diana replied. Lucy asked me a question tonight that I've never been asked before. What's the point of being a princess? And she's helped me realize that my position is only meaningful if I use it to help people who really need help. David looked at his daughter with amazement. Lucy asked you that? She did, Diana confirmed, and it's changed everything for me. David sat down heavily in another chair, the weight of months of worry and exhaustion showing in his posture. I'm sorry, Your Royal Highness, Diana, I'm just so tired. I work 2 jobs to try to keep up with the medical expenses, and I never know if I'm doing enough for Lucy. Diana's heart went out to this man who was clearly doing everything he could for his daughter. You're doing an incredible job, David. Lucy talks about you with such love and pride. She told me how hard you work and how much you care for her. Sometimes I feel like I'm failing her, David admitted. When her mother left, I didn't know how to handle everything. Lucy got sick, and suddenly I was a single father dealing with cancer treatments and bills and trying to keep everything together. Lucy reached out and took her father's hand. Daddy, you're not failing me. You're my hero. Princess Diana says being brave means being scared but doing it anyway, and that's what you do every day. Diana watched this exchange between father and daughter and felt another piece of understanding fall into place. This was what real courage looked like. Not the ceremonial duties she performed, but the daily battle of people like David and Lucy, who faced overwhelming challenges with love and determination. Dr. Rachel Turner appeared in the doorway, having been notified of Diana's presence. She had been Lucy's oncologist since her diagnosis and had grown fond of the brave little girl and her devoted father. I hope Lucy hasn't been keeping you up too late. Your Royal Highness, Dr. Turner said. She's quite the chatterbox when she can't sleep. Lucy has been teaching me important things, Diana replied. Dr. Turner, how is she doing? Really? Dr. Turner glanced at Lucy, who was listening intently. Lucy is responding well to treatment. Her latest tests show significant improvement. She's exceeded our expectations at every stage. I am a fighter, Lucy agreed. Princess Diana says being brave means being scared but doing it anyway, and I've been scared but I keep fighting. Dr. Turner smiled. That's exactly right, Lucy, and your father's support has been crucial to your recovery. The two of you make an incredible team. Diana spent another 30 minutes with Lucy and David, learning about their daily struggles and triumphs. She discovered that David had lost his better-paying job when he needed to take time off for Lucy's initial treatments and was now working 2 minimum-wage jobs to make ends meet. She learned that Lucy worried about her father as much as he worried about her, and that they had developed bedtime routines where they would tell each other 3 good things that had happened each day, no matter how difficult the day had been. Before leaving, Diana made several promises to Lucy and David that she intended to keep. Over the following weeks, Diana's midnight visit to Lucy became the catalyst for a complete transformation in how she approached her royal duties. Lucy's innocent question, "What's the point of being a princess?" had forced Diana to examine the purpose and meaning of her position in a way she never had before. True to her word, Diana arranged for William and Harry to write letters to Lucy. The correspondence became ongoing, with Lucy sharing updates about her treatment and the princes telling her about their school experiences. The letters delighted Lucy and taught Diana's sons about resilience and courage. Diana also began making regular unannounced visits to children's hospitals, not for photo opportunities or official engagements, but simply to spend time with sick children who needed someone to listen to them. She quietly arranged financial assistance for David Johnson, ensuring he could reduce his work hours to spend more time with Lucy during treatment. This was done anonymously through a charitable fund, allowing David to maintain his dignity while receiving help. Nurse Jennifer Walsh later described the change in Diana's hospital visits. After that night with Lucy, Princess Diana's approach was completely different. She wasn't performing royal duties, she was connecting with children as a mother, as a human being who understood fear and sadness. Victoria Ashworth observed that Diana began requesting more time at each hospital visit, wanting to speak with children individually rather than just making ceremonial appearances. David Johnson was overwhelmed when he learned about the financial assistance. When he tried to thank Diana, she deflected his gratitude. Lucy taught me that being a princess is only meaningful if you use it to help people, Diana told him. You and Lucy are helping me become the person I'm supposed to be. Rachel Turner observed remarkable changes in Lucy's outlook following Diana's visits. Children often struggle with feeling isolated and different because of their illness. Diana's honesty about her own fears and sadness helped Lucy understand that everyone faces challenges, even Princess. The impact extended beyond Lucy to other children in the ward. Word spread that Princess Diana had spent hours talking with Lucy about real things: fear, sadness, bravery. The hospital staff began encouraging more honest conversations about feeling. The night also transformed Diana's relationship with her own children. When she told William and Harry about Lucy, she found herself having deeper conversations with them about fear, courage, and the responsibility that came with privilege. "Mummy," William had asked after hearing about Lucy, "if we're princes, does that mean we should help people who are scared or sad?" "That's exactly what it means," Diana had replied, realizing that Lucy had taught her how to explain royal duty to her own children. Diana continued visiting Lucy regularly throughout her treatment, each visit reinforcing the lesson Lucy had taught her that first night. She brought books, games, and most importantly, her presence during difficult moments. Lucy's treatment was successful, and she entered remission 14 months after Diana's first visit. The day Lucy received her final chemotherapy treatment, she gave Diana a drawing showing a princess and a little girl sitting together in a hospital room. "Thank you for teaching me what princesses are really for," Lucy had written on the drawing, but it was Diana who felt grateful. Lucy's innocent question had provided clarity about her purpose that years of royal training had never achieved. Anthony Clark, the hospital's chief administrator, later reflected on the impact of that midnight visit. "Princess Diana's encounter with Lucy Williams fundamentally changed how our staff approached conversations with young patients. We developed new protocols for emotional support that are still in use today," Nurse Patricia Bell observed. After Princess Diana's visits, Lucy started helping other children who were newly diagnosed. She would tell them that even princesses get scared, but that being brave means facing your fears anyway. The midnight visit also influenced Diana's public speaking about children's health issues. She began talking openly about the emotional challenges that seriously ill children faced, advocating for better psychological support services in pediatric wards. Victoria Ashworth later said that Diana's unplanned hospital visit became a template for her approach to charitable work. That night taught Princess Diana that the most meaningful connections often happen when you abandon protocol and simply show up as a human being who cares. Years later, Lucy Williams, now a healthy adult working as a pediatric nurse herself, would speak about that Valentine's Day night that changed two lives. "Princess Diana came to visit me, but I think I ended up helping her more than she helped me," Lucy reflected. She needed to understand that being royal meant using your voice for people who couldn't speak for themselves. "I was just sick enough and young enough to ask the question she needed to hear." Lucy chose her career path directly because of her experience with Diana and the healthcare team that had saved her life. She specialized in working with newly diagnosed children, helping them understand their treatments and cope with their fear. David Johnson, who successfully rebuilt his career after Lucy's recovery, established a support fund for families dealing with childhood cancer, addressing the exact challenges his family had faced. Diana's midnight visit to the cancer ward had been prompted by her own emotional turmoil, but it became one of the most defining moments of her charitable work. Lucy Williams's innocent question, "What's the point of being a princess?" had provided Diana with the answer that would guide the rest of her public life. The little girl who taught a princess about purpose had received the gift of life through successful treatment, while the princess who learned about meaning had found a way to make her position truly matter. In the end, it was an 8-year-old child fighting cancer who provided Princess Diana with the clearest explanation of what royal duty should really mean, using privilege to bring comfort, understanding, and hope to those who needed it most. The words that broke Diana's heart that night ultimately helped her rebuild her sense of purpose, proving that sometimes the most profound wisdom comes from the most unexpected sources.